Hey cycling friends, James with Team Finish Strong here, back again with another Zwift tips video. You know, the last video was so well received. I just want to tell you I appreciate the likes and the comments that you all left for me. It's been very encouraging, and so because of that, I want to give you guys some more tips to chew on. And here they are. Number one, avoid the dreaded dropout. Probably one of cyclists' worst enemies, the dreaded dropout, comes when you least expect it. So how can you avoid this trap? To fix this problem, you're going to have to look at your hardware. First of all, smart trainers generally don't have this problem because they're always on, always connected. The problem generally stems from your power meter on your bike. I've had crank-based power meters, I've had pedal power meters. Both have had dropouts. The Stages power meter that I had more dropouts. It operated on a coin cell battery, very small, probably had a weaker signal, and so it had an unacceptable number of dropouts, and I just couldn't race with it. My pedal-based power meter, however, has not had significant issues with dropouts, although in this particular race I did have a couple of dropouts. So the first thing I would suggest checking in these situations is the distance between the power meter on your bike and your Ant Plus dongle on your computer. You want to minimize that distance as much as possible. You can do that by getting a USB extension cable. That'll bring the Ant Plus dongle closer to your bike and should minimize any dropouts due to weak signal or interference. If you're still experiencing issues, however, you really have to start looking at interference or hardware issues as the culprit. Now, interference issues can be hard to diagnose and fix. It generally involves going into your Wi-Fi router setup and changing the channel to a different one and see if you get better results. On the hardware side, if you just want to try a simple fix and see if it works, it's easy enough to just get a spare Ant Plus dongle and USB cable and see if that corrects the problem. Number two, burst mode. Here we are at the dreaded halfway point in a race. I have been on the rivet, in the red, and just about ready to give up. But I'm not ready to give up the race just yet. So I actually kind of learned this trick by accident, and I call it burst mode. And what it is applying a significant amount of power against resistance, like a hill for example, and allowing yourself a micro break or pause between pedal strokes to give you just enough break so that you can make that next effort, and that next effort, and that next effort. And surprisingly, with the craziness of the Zwift algorithm, this works. And the net result for me in this event was that I was able to maintain contact with the group and contest it in a sprint finish. Number three, finishing your climb. Almost as important as climbing itself, how you finish your climb is equally important. On the left, I apply power through the top of the climb, and on the right, I don't. Let's see the results. You can see here that as I approach the top, on the left-hand side, I'm already gaining ground. And by the time I push through the top of the climb, the sprint banner, and reach the first turn, I've already gained almost 2 seconds on the right. That short break can mean the difference between staying safely snuggled in the group or falling off the back. So have the mental discipline to continue your effort through the top of the climb, and you'll be all set. Number four, know the course. This tip takes us over to the Richmond UCI Worlds course. Now this course has three notable climbs. Libby Hill, the 23rd Street climb, and lastly, the Governor Street climb. Now these three climbs come in very quick succession, so it's very important how you attack these efforts. First off, you don't get very much rest in between efforts, so you have to consider all three as a whole when you plan your strategy. Now for me, I learned something very valuable in this particular event, and I want to show you what happened. Up to this point in the event, I have been conserving my energy well. You can see I'm still with the group, as I approach the 23rd Street climb. As we're ascending the climb, I can see that the group starts to string out. Now, keep in mind, I have riders both in front of me as well as behind me. But I chose to surge forward so that I could stay closer to the front of the group. In retrospect, this was unnecessary because as we approach and get over the top of the KOM, the group will start to blob back up. And later on, you're going to see why this is so important. Here we are just a couple short minutes later, and we're at the Governor Street climb. As you can see, as they attack the climb, the group starts stringing out, and I'm trying to match watt for watt. Unfortunately, though, I'm tired, I'm starting to go in the red, and the cumulative effect of the preceding two climbs is starting to have its effect on me. I just can't hold the watts or the wheels anymore, and I start losing contact with the pack. I learned a valuable lesson that day, and the lesson is this: save your best energy in the Richmond UCI Worlds course for the Governor Street climb, because that's where it counts. The first two climbs, you just need to maintain contact with the group, but then expect that attack on Governor Street climb and hang on for dear life. You'll do better for it. Well, that's it here from Yorkshire with another Zwift Tips video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you drop it a like, and don't forget to subscribe because I'm always putting out new content. Until the next video, take care, God bless, and as always, finish strong.